the game. He's just able to resist the overall lower damage that Nautilus provides as a champion.
I'm just more surprised at the fact that the client knew that that was essentially happening. Like it kept going back down to bot, and I was thinking, well, is it going to go back up the top? It looks like there's actually kind of some serious stuff going on, and then no one died.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it was like, oh, all right, client, I guess you win this round. But yeah, like I said, that fight up top is going to be more of a slap fight than anything else, just because of the nature of both of those two champions. Shin with his damage reduction and complete damage negation kind of makes things really easy to you kind of ignore the fact that he's up there sometimes. And Nautilus, with his capacity to build shields and just outright be the biggest guy around, that also kind of adds a little bit to it in terms of. Looks like Elise is trying to set up for a gank, but that also kind of adds to how the fight really isn't going to mean too much up there unless someone else is there to make a bigger impact. Oh, and Elise gets impatient. She throws down a cocoon and misses. Lucian tries to go in, tries to save that failed gank, but unfortunately he gets hit with a Nami bubble, and that ends his calling.
Overall, we are seeing nearly the exact same builds so far on either team. There is less than 1k gold difference, and it's all coming from the CS pressure that the jungler has been able to get for his laners. When we look at this, we have the Bomby Cinder shared by both the top laners. We see the Gunblade, which will split into different items for the teams, with Echo building into a Hextech Proto Belt, and Fizz very likely building into that Hextech Gunblade. We see Caitlyn and Lucian who just went back and bought his first set of items. But as far as starting goes, we're only now starting to see the champions getting these items and then begin to split apart for what they're planning on doing with their builds.
We got a fight up top. It looks like Nautilus is trying as hard as he can to kind of put out quite a bit of damage on Shen. He was able to kind of do that. Shen got caught out, and he had a massive minion line coming in. Minions don't necessarily hurt when they're in small groups, but when you have someone else wailing on you and you're kind of being held down, that damage kind of becomes significant over a small period of time. So that, I think, was what caused that whole fight to kind of switch in terms of Shen not necessarily doing all that great. Again, it kind of takes an outside force to kind of influence whether or not a team fight or a fight between a Nautilus and a Shen are going to work out. And that outside influence was wave. So good job on Nautilus for paying attention to wave control and being able to kind of help himself by taking advantage of the number of minions that were in that lane moving down.
Absolutely. And when you get to these higher elo games, a lot of it does not just come down to the individual mechanical play of the players. A lot of it comes down to the prep work they do before these trades even happen, with setting up the waves, making sure that waves can push tower even if they're not on the same side of the map.
Right. And that is also you always have to take into consideration the sixth man, the minions. As long as you're aware of the minions, chances are you can probably do more complicated strategies. The minions all typically function the same way, and there are things that you can do to kind of help them become more empowered as the game progresses. But if you manage your minions correctly and properly, and we got a gank down in bot, it looks like Elise goes ahead and takes down Nami, and Shen stops the TP from Nautilus with his taunt. I don't know if they're... Oh! Graves goes ahead and ults Lucian, takes him down, and it looks like in mid, Echo might... Oh, no. Echo goes ahead and does his chrono shift and comes back with half HP. He doesn't necessarily have to lose all... He doesn't have to go back to base after that whole fight with Fizz, but it looks like his ult's going to be down for a second, but quite a bit of action just happened there. Oh, and it looks like Echo is going back in, and the flash taunt from Shen. It looks like that's going to get Caitlyn again. No, it's not. It looks like that Graves actually took down Elise, and then Graves took down Shen after some quick kiting. And it looks like they're going to take Inferno Drake as a result of it.
That's actually going to skyrocket Final Light Gaming ahead this game. They made the Legends 27 made a mistake in their positioning and didn't respect the damage potential that Fizz had in mid lane as well. That gave him the ability to just destroy the Echo, who had already used his biggest defensive spell of that ultimate to pull himself out of danger and regain health.
You're saying, now that I think about that, it probably would have been just a better idea to just kind of stay in lane after that. But Echo was starting to fall behind a little bit in CS. I kind of understand why he wanted to stay in the area at least, because you don't want to lose any more CS to Fizz. You want to make sure you're as close as you possibly can control involving fighting him. And it looks like Fizz goes ahead, throws down the ult, but Parallel Convergence goes ahead and gets procced, so that made Fizz back off.
We're really seeing that 4,000 gold difference mid and the just outplay potential that Fizz has as a champion. He was able to take 2/3 of Echo's health off before Echo's time shield could ever kick in, and he could actually pick up that resistance, which means Fizz was easily able to win the trade and get out before Echo could counter in any meaningful way.
Right. So right now, if we're going to do a quick little summary of this game, looks like Final Light Gaming is 3K gold over the Legends 27. There are no towers down, but Final Light also has an Inferno Drake, so chances are we're going to see a little more fighting on their part, especially now that they have the buffed up AD and AP ratios. It also looks like, in terms of lanes, Nautilus is very much ahead of Shen. Graves is doing incredibly well against the Legends 27 in general with his 4-0 record currently, and it looks like there's a fight in top. Elise goes ahead and tries to come up. If she's able to land that cocoon, she is able to land the cocoon. Shen goes ahead and tries to go ahead and finish off Nautilus, but now Graves is up top, and it looks like Shen is going to go down. He does go down to the Graves ult, and now Nautilus goes ahead and catches Elise. Looks like Graves is shooting as much as he can, and he takes her down too. This is not going well for them in terms of Graves getting completely fed early on in the game. I know we were worried about Fizz earlier, but it looks like we should have been more worried about Graves at this point.
Absolutely, and he has developed almost a 2,000 gold lead on that Elise with that powerful early game pressure that he has. He has beaten Elise, who is also very good at this in the early game, by substantially he outpathed her, and then he was able to outgank her by exerting pressure on all of his lanes. He might even be going for something mid against this Echo, who is very low and doesn't have his ult.
And it looks like he's backing off, but Fizz goes ahead and says, I want a piece of that action too, and he goes ahead, dives that mid outer tower and gets the kill. Yeah, this is turning into a Final Light Gaming game with the fact that both Graves and Fizz are substantially ahead right now. We haven't even really talked about Caitlyn and the fact that she has 3 assists currently, so she's also figuring out ways to make money on her own. And at some point, all of those things are going to converge and turn into a pretty ridiculous situation. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little confused as to why Caitlyn would pick up Ninja Tabi, but I'm assuming that that's probably because of Lucian, because there really is no other.
Ninja Tabi actually right now is becoming ever increasingly more popular for ADCs. Because of the armor it provides, it gives them laning pressure immediately against their fellow ADCs, and especially if there's more than one attack damage threat reliant on auto attacks on the enemy team, such as the Graves this game, it also does that 10% reduction to auto attack damage, which significantly ups their survivability against things like that Graves burst.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense now that I think about it. But I'm kind of Oh, and it looks like, oh, and Fizz catches Echo with, oh, and that nice move by Echo, but it's not enough to get him out of it. Fizz goes ahead and takes him down. Karma thought she was going to try and go help, but she is in full retreat of the Graves.
What's more is it seems that they saw this coming. They saw the position the Echo was in and knew how he would react. He was low because he had just lost a trade against that Fizz.
And Graves, it looks like he's going in. He's trying to go ahead and get the kill, but he's unable to do so. But the smoke screen comes through, and after getting the kill, Graves throws a little bit of disrespect with the proficiency emoticon. It's not looking so good for anyone who has to fight against Graves. Graves might be automatic, let's run for our lives person at this point. Oh, and Shin tries to ult, but he's unable to. He gets knocked up, and Elise immediately loses her shield, and she goes down. Caitlyn was actually able to take down Shin on the back end of that as well. And now it looks like they're going to go ahead and take down that inner tower, and they're going to start making their way towards Dragon, which is going to be spawning in 10 seconds.
The coordination Final Light Gaming is showing is absolutely massive. One thing that you have to notice in this is that no matter what the situation is, they're always working together with the team. Whether it was the play against the Echo earlier mid, where they picked him knowing he would time winder back and having that Graves there for the extra pressure, or whether when they collapsed all onto that Shen and destroyed him as if he was paper.
Right. And with that last Dragon, Final Light Gaming went ahead and got their second Inferno Drake. The third dragon, the next dragon is going to be Ocean. So I think that at this point, if Legends 27 doesn't start to get dragons on their own, this game might not last for too much longer, I think. Right now, Final Light Gaming has a 9K gold advantage. That's pretty substantial, especially in a situation where both Graves and Fizz are going to be the ones that are carrying. So I hope that Legends 27 can kind of figure out what they want to do next before they all of a sudden lose a Baron at this point, because everyone's starting to rotate top for Final Light Gaming. I think that might be their next plan.
That would be very impressive on their part, as Baron is only just about to spawn right now, actually, as it enters onto the Rift. Going for a Baron this early does pose significant challenges.
Okay, and it looks like we're starting to fight right now. It looks like Echo's trying to dive into the back line. Shin takes down Nami, but Nautilus is tanking as much as he possibly can. Lucian is doing everything he can to get him taken out. Shin goes ahead and finishes off Nautilus, but Caitlyn goes ahead and snipes Echo. Graves and Lucian kind of dance around each other, and Graves wins that fight in the end. That's a 5-2 ace for Final Light Gaming. So
with three members, two of them being heavy damage marksmen who are amazing at taking out turrets, and a very auto attack based assassin, we are seeing a massive push potential even in these short windows that the Legends 27 are down currently. This is just going further to show how coordinated Final Light Gaming is, able to take these advantages and push through two towers in an inhib with that small period of time they had available.
I'm saying getting inhib this early on, 21 minutes in, that's definitely not going to be something that Legends 27 want to deal with. Super minions are strong. Typically, if it happens in a late game, you don't really pay too much attention to it. But this early on in the game, when you don't really have that many items and you don't really have that many stats to rely on in terms of taking down those guys, things become very difficult. Like, super minions have the capacity to almost act like full champions, depending on what your role is. So you're going to have difficulty trying to take those guys out. It looks like Echo is running for his life right now. He just used his parallel convergence to get out of a gank by 4 of the Final Light Gaming members, but he's running through their jungle right now. He goes ahead and gets caught by the Fizz ult, and he goes down too. Gets taken down by Churn the Waters. Now Graves is trying to